Momentous scenes, viewers, momentous scenes as India hosts the International Chess Olympiad. The Prime Minister and the Chief Minister both on stage, sharing chemistry and also, of course, the enthusiasm for the game of chess. We move on, viewers, to some of the other big news of the day on India Upfront. As always, we focus on the biggest developments of the day. Now, viewers, just look at the three visuals on the screens and give them a thought. There are sackfuls of money that the ED says are proceeds of crime. There is a mantri allegedly linked to this haul but has tried to dodge arrest by falsely claiming that he was sick a few days ago. His alleged associate is jubilant and is basking in the afterglow of the alleged ill-gotten wealth. These visuals have sensationally come together as the ED recovered cash allegedly from a second residence of Arpita Mukherjee late last night. It took them so long to count the money, viewers, that it seemed for a moment that the trove of cash was limitless. They say all that glitters is not gold. In this case, the adage certainly rang true. Cash mountains of glittering cash emerged with outrageous regularity from the home of Arpita Mukherjee, an ED-designated close aide of Mamata's minister Partha Chatterjee. With each sackful of cash recovered by the Enforcement Directorate, the questions to Mamata Banerjee and her party on their inaction and silence became harder to ignore. After 5 days of burying their head in the sand, I will now draw your attention, viewers, to another set of visuals. After 5 days of burying their head in the sand and accusing the Enforcement Directorate of a witch hunt, it appears that the proverbial penny, or in this case, the paisa, dropped in TMC minds. Today, in a surprise move, Mamata Banerjee not only sacked Partha Chatterjee from his post, but the party also suspended him. What has proved to be Partha's undoing? That in the last 5 days, the party has done a somersault. Could it have been his aide's alleged confession to the Enforcement Directorate? Now, this is what Arpita is thought to have told the Enforcement Directorate. She is thought to have told the ED, and let's see this on the screens, viewers. The cash recovered by the Enforcement Directorate belongs to Partha Chatterjee. Partha's men would come and dump money in the rooms of my flat. Partha used to come and check the money kept in the rooms. He knew that money was kept but didn't know about the amount. Didn't have access to rooms, she says, where money was kept because it was always under lock and key. The total value of the seizure, viewers, is 55 crores 43 lakhs. Gold alone is worth 5 crores. Viewers, this money has been seized in at least 3 caches. But the real tragedy here is that this money, if the ED is to be believed, has been linked to kickbacks taken to fix teacher appointments. In other words, if the allegations are true, this mantri, as even the High Court has adjudicated, was ready to jeopardize the future of India's children by paving the way for the appointment of substandard teachers by taking kickbacks. This is the allegation. This is a clear mockery of the principle of merit, the cornerstone of a democracy. This mockery doesn't end here. Even the ordinary Indian, the Manush, is being mocked, viewers. Let's look at the cold statistics. At a time when you and I are paying higher EMIs, more for our food and fuel, the mantri had allegedly amassed assets to the tune of crores to ease the burdens of his life. How unfair is that, viewers? How contemptuous is that of the public you are appointed to serve? If it weren't for the ED, Partha's alleged indiscretions would have gone unnoticed. In fact, since the implementation of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act in 2005, the Enforcement Directorate has identified close to 1 lakh crore as proceeds of crime from different, powerful, rich, entitled folk in this country. To put things in perspective, we had just $2 billion American dollars in our forex reserves before liberalization in 1991. Rupees 1 lakh crore, ladies and gentlemen, is more than 5 times the economy of Bhutan. Rupees 1 lakh crore is the equivalent of food subsidy in India for almost 450 million people. More than 35% of the country's population. Rupees 1 lakh crore can provide employment to almost 6 crore households under Manrega. Rupees 1 lakh crore is adequate to feed 1 billion children in a year, as it amounts to 10 times the budgetary allocation of the PM Poshan or midday meal scheme. The opposition, the Congress, the BJP has of course slammed the belated action by the TMC on its minister, saying that it's a post facto admission of guilt. It has also demanded to know whether Mamata's and her party's attack on the ED were motivated and intended to discredit the agency because it was closing in on corruption by its top leaders. Viewers, let's ask that question. Let's ask if that was indeed the case. Let's ask viewers if Didi and her party will still demonize the Enforcement Directorate. I want to begin by asking Dr. Shashi Panja, Minister in charge, Department of Women and Child Development and Social Welfare, National Spokesperson of the TMC. Dr. Panja, it's a straight question, and it's a question that is on everyone's mind. Is the suspension an indirect admission of guilt? Is the sacking an indirect admission of guilt? Simple, straightforward question to you tonight.
Good evening, Rahulji. Good evening to all. And of course, I think today's press conference was also followed by you and your channel. And there are some very strong actions and stern actions which have been taken vis-a-vis the Partha Chatterjee, who was the minister. So he's been relieved from there. And also, he was in various posts of the party. He has also been suspended from there. So what your question, like, I can just say this much, that we have a disciplinary committee. In fact, he was also one of the members. The moment this incident happened and when he was arrested on 23rd, the disciplinary committee sat that day. There was intense consultation and amongst the members, and certain observations were placed to the chairperson of All India Trinamool Congress, Mamata Banerjee. And it was that we went on saying, we did tell you also that the party is keeping a stern, is observing it, observing how things were unfolding. So initially, we did say that there is no charge sheet yet, there's no prosecution yet, and we also are now mentioning that the way things have unfolded, the circumstantial evidence which is also rolling in. So the disciplinary committee, which sat again today on the 28th, that is today, then decided this is the party's action, and before that, Mamata Banerjee, as the chief minister, took the action. Now the point is, the investigation is still on. So there were certain things. It's not that we are attacking ED. We are actually saying, please complete the investigation. Make it time-bound. Say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, but make it. Because why, Rahulji, we sometimes do comment sourly is this, that we are a victim of this witch hunt. We are a victim because somehow there is misuse against of these agencies, which seem to be having geographical limitations only up to the non-BJP ruled states. Very funnily. I mean, there are many instances, and it's not what about it. There are many instances of corruption all over the country involving leaders across the political parties. But somehow this doesn't happen. And what we have faced is every election that happens in Bengal, before elections, our leaders are targeted. This has happened time and again. So the frequency, the timings, it's, it was always indicating in that direction. And that's why we had a complaint, but now we have been saying the investigation should be on, and we want to understand where this came from, the source, everything.
Dr. Panja, this is what Firad Hakim, one of your own colleagues, has said. He's a senior party leader, not someone that anyone can dismiss as being on the peripheries of the TMC system. And Nalin Kohli is here also, and I'm going to ask him this question. He said, in today's situation, this is 5 days ago, viewers, he says, in today's situation, it seems like the ED is being run by the BJP. If Suvendu Adhikari, BJP leader in West Bengal, is saying that a lot of things are going to be found in the future, even before ED is giving any statement, it means that ED is politically influenced by the BJP. Dr. Panja, this is what was said. You said the disciplinary committee met today. You usually discipline someone when there is an indiscretion. I began by asking you, is this a tacit admission? A very quick response to my very direct question. I got the preamble, fair enough, but I want to ask you, tacit admission, yes or no?
No. As the evidence that is evident now through, obviously, because the ED does not, ED is giving out, everything is like ED sources. Actually, ED should be submitting everything to the court. But unfortunately, in this country, everything comes before the media. So there are pictures of the gold ornaments, there, everything. And the halls are still on. So we are zero tolerant to any kind of corruption. Mamata Banerjee has not told anybody to steal.
Okay.
There is a perception we are responsible or accountable to the people. And we didn't want the disappointment on their faces. And I think that is where the accountability starts. We are not under any covered by any kind of opposition party, our opposition party. Their remarks, we are not covered with that.
Okay,
we are responsible to the people.
The BJP says that this is an admission of guilt. You say that one in, but what about? And the Alibaba's cave has been exposed as one of ill-gotten riches. Mr. Kohli, what about the 40 other chores? Why is the BJP still unhappy with this action? Can you give Dr. Panja a response?
So, Rahul, Dr. Panja is one of the erudite spokespersons and a senior leader of the Trinamool Congress. And normally I must compliment her. She comes out with a very fast repartee. But today, in these circumstances, I think any spokesperson would be at pains to build a long argument on something that is rather simple to answer. The fact of the matter is, let's look at what she said. Mamata Banerjee, as Chief Minister, has a zero tolerance towards corruption or money. So when the first 15-20 crores were found, that was probably chiller, Golgappa, maybe something to go and eat Calcutta's famous rolls, some change in the house. But when it became 55 crores, maybe it's a little more difficult. Today, I mean, this is an open and shut case. By any evidence, by any standard of evidence, 55 crores in cash and gold is an open and shut case. I mean, the properties are probably more. The Calcutta High Court was already seized of a scam. It was already under judicial investigation, or rather adjudication. That scam was well known. The minister had favored his own family members. That was also reported by the media. That something rotten was happening under the nose of Mamata Banerjee as Chief Minister was not even a secret. It was openly known and already part of some kind of process of law before the court or in terms of the family members being beneficiaries. Now when so much money comes out, then it raises three questions. Either in the first case when it was 15-20 crores, the government felt, no, this is just small change, or this is, something we can allow and, roughshod and run through by making a frontal attack on the BJP and the ED, which has nothing to do with the money. The second part is that it took 55 crores finally to decide that no, this is too bad for us and we must take action. Now this raises two questions. That why was he being protected in the first place? Is there a mechanism? Because we read in the media, I don't know how far it is true, but protection money, this kind of syndicate, the word keeps coming out. So what was this whole story there in Bengal? Does that story have any credence? Does that story have any meat in it, as they call? Or alternatively, there is an administration where the Chief Minister, who obviously is building a whole case of honesty here, that under the Chief Minister's nose, somebody is able to stash with an associate some 40-50 crores hard cash along with gold and properties. So that raises also questions that people can go to such extent of corruption and the Chief Minister is unaware. Her whole intelligence network is unaware. So either it is unaware, as we are to believe, or it is completely aware and looking the other way. In both cases, it doesn't speak well for the West Bengal government.
Okay, so
And
I'll ask that
certainly not for the
question. So let's
cabinet
ask that question.
and the leadership.
Why
there
was
is
he
no escape
protected
from the
for
fact.
so long?
The least today we would have expected
Is he
a
because...
thank you to the ED.
Okay, is
If
it
you
because
believe
the
that
money
this was
trail...
an honest, if this was a corrupt, a government which is honest, acting against a corrupt person, then you should have sent a thank you to the ED.
Okay,
and
viewers,
the enforcement
I just want to come in here.
directorate,
Viewers, there is a black
that
diary.
Also now is targeting
there is an alleged black diary. That black diary, one second, if you go by what the recoveries are, and these are submissions in court, viewers, this is what the ED has submitted in court. It is said that there is a black diary. In that black diary that belongs allegedly to Partha, in that black diary, there are codes which they will need to cross-check with Mr. Partha. Codes of money transactions which could be beyond the current scope of investigation. So, in the backdrop of that, Dr. Panja, very quickly I want to ask you before I bring in the others, was this gentleman being protected? Is that the reason why Firhad Hakim very quickly on the first day itself said, hang on, the ED is the BJP's extension. It is the BJP's parrot, cage parrot. Now that the action has been taken, are you quickly cauterizing the wound? Dr. Panja, and you know, you're a doctor, you understand the term, cauterizing the wound.
Yeah, I understand that. These days, you know, we in our medical practice, we do cryo. So that is cold. That was cryo. Cautery would be when you apply heat, and when you use cold things, then we call it cryo. But it's not Rahulji. I'm amazed at Nalin Kohli, what he said. We are not protecting anybody. I mean, right from day one, we have said that, you know, initially what was it? It was about the aid. The aid we know nothing about. We don't know about the money which was found in our hand. It's not the quantum of money, Kohli. You understand that the money was found in the aide's house. Was the money found in Trinamool Congress party headquarters? Was it? No. So it
no, but it has been linked to a Trinamool minister. That's why you suspended him.
Rahulji.
There could be no backstop.
For Kohli, pictures are very important. Even we have questions. Why did you let Mehul Choksey run away from the country? Why did you let Nirav Modi run away from the country? Here he is not run away. He's here, very much undergoing an investigation.
He might still run away. You don't know.
So was there a failure of intelligence?
Nalin Kohli wants to quickly respond.
Was there a failure of intelligence?
Okay, failure of intelligence all around. Okay, very quickly, Mr. Kohli. Very quickly respond, and then I will open this up. Yes.
One quick point. Look, I mean, of course, there will be the attempt to obfuscate and there will be an attempt to digress and create an alternative argument point. But if an aide of Mr. Partha Chatterjee can amass 55 crores or 50 crores, it raises even more questions. Was the government being run by touts, and a minister of your cabinet was able to allow his aides to yield such power that they could create 55 crores, 60 crores of assets for themselves? Okay. It begs the question, then how much were the ministers making?
Well, so let's do away with the ED
thank you for that
and let BJP investigate.
For assisting me to
let us do away with
the country
ED
about how
BJP investigate.
You would also love that. Again, the insinuation being drawn is that the ED is now seconded to the BJP. Okay, now 1 minute.
Enforcement Directorate, because obviously it is catching corrupt people in your government.
Okay. No,
I mean, I can understand you have a vested
but
interest
it should also catch Suvendu Adhikari. But it should also catch Suvendu Adhikari.
But Dr. Panja, when Suvendu Adhikari was with you, you said that the ED was... No, but Dr. Panja, here I have to come in. Here then there is some double speak, because when the charges were first brought against Dr. Suvendu Adhikari, you said he was innocent. Only when he crossed over to the BJP, you said that he should be investigated.
You're telling me?
Yes, doctor.
No.
Okay, can
there were many things which Suvendu Adhikari has said which you will not believe. Nalin Kohli will have to shut his ears.
Well,
when he was in TMC,
that is
what
true.
Things he has said about
that
BJP.
Might be so. That might be so. But you see,
the fact still remains, the very similar complaints on which Firhad Hakim and other two ministers were caught, arrested and jailed. Why hasn't Suvendu Adhikari even
all I was trying to get
once?
Okay, all I was trying to get at is that the perception on the ED changes on which side of the divide you're on. So viewers, today the ED can do no wrong for the government at the center, but can do only wrong for the opposition parties. And I want to open this up. Yes, I'll come to you, Ms. Roy. I want to bring in Tehseen Poonawala. I want to bring in Touseef Ahmed also. Mr. Poonawala, let me come to you. Whether it is the TMC, whether it is the Congress, the moment the ED lands up, and remember, just yesterday the Supreme Court has upheld all the powers of the PMLA, search, seizure, arrest, everything. The moment the ED shows up, moment 2 or even 3 agents show up at the door of a politician, especially in the opposition parties, what is said? The ED is the cat's paw of the BJP. Now I want to ask you, will you still demonize the Enforcement Directorate after it has done a stellar job in pressuring the TMC to drop a minister, which many people will see, perceptorially I'm saying, as an admission of guilt and a vindication for the ED's investigation? Simple question.
Namaskar, Rahul. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Namaskar to all you, my fellow panelists and to all your viewers. Your question to me and my answer to that is the ED an extended arm of the government? Yes, it is. ED should be renamed BD-Bajrang Dal. It functions like the Bajrang Dal. It only goes after the opposition. Your question to the honorable ministers, will Partha Chatterjee escape punishment? Yes, he will. If today Partha Chatterjee just now comes on Times Now, gives you an exclusive, says I'm joining Mr. Modi and there's nobody greater than Mr. Modi, the same Partha Chatterjee will be deemed clean and the BJP will take him with open arms. We know about the hypocrisy of the BJP, particularly in the Northeast. They removed a white paper on Mamata Biswa Sharma. Today he's the chief minister.
No.
Nalinji, please, sir, I respect you a lot, but please, may I have my say? You may counter me after I'm done. ED, in Vyapam, people committed suicide. Did not decide that it deemed fit to investigate out there. And if so much cash is being found, can we ask one question of Nalinji, for whom I have a lot of respect? Hasn't demonetization failed? Because the Honorable Prime Minister said in 50 days demonetization will change this country. Now you're finding cash that nobody's ever seen. So either the Prime Minister has failed or either he's using the ED to catch people, which he doesn't use in his party. I have one simple question. I completely, bowing before the majesty of the Honorable Supreme Court, disagree with yesterday's judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court. I think fundamentally that's constitutionally wrong. But that's a debate for another day. My simple question to Nalinji is this. When will the ED turn on your people and investigate the scams? Didn't the foreign government write to your government saying that there was scam in the Rafale? It wrote. You all refused to open it until that came out. And why does ED give everything to the newspapers and to the media? Why doesn't it go to court and submit it? Why is ED leaking investigation? Is it because it wants to save people? What is the conviction rate of ED?
Nalin Kohli, quick response.
First in reverse. Obviously, they will not like the ED to go to the newspapers or give the information because the dirty images of so much of stashed cash and gold will get to the rest of the country. Put it in an envelope. Please give it to the court so that nobody sees. That's your argument, Tehseen bhai. Second, let's come now one by one. Rafale went up to the Supreme Court. How much you all tried to flag it, manufacture a controversy? What came out? A judgment that said there is no scam. Now let's go to the next one. Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, I understand that anyone supporting the Congress party is going to be pained. Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma is the first man who exposed Rahul Gandhi's priorities. His priority was feeding PD, his pet dog, rather than talking to a leader.
Okay, but Tehseen,
and Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma got himself exonerated.
Why has there been no action against
BJP
leaders since 2014?
So therefore, that
why
is the
has
third
ED taken no action?
Now let's go to the Vyapam scam.
No, Mr. Kohli, direct question, please.
Look, Tehseen bhai. I heard you patiently.
Sir, I'm not speaking.
The
anchor is.
No, 1 minute.
Your advice, please follow yourself.
Sir, I'm not
speaking. Mr. Kohli, this is Rahul asking you the question. This is Rahul Shivashankar asking you the question.
On Vyapam.
Okay, on Vyapam. You give your answer and then I'm following up with a question. Yes.
Can't see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on Vyapam, unfortunately, before raising this, Tehseen should have known that I was one of the advocates at that time in the Supreme Court when the case was there. And what did the Supreme Court say? How much did the Congress leaders try to manufacture a case? There is a whistleblower. There is this. There's a castigating judgment of the Supreme Court talking about the fraud to manufacture a case that there was political interference. Here was the government of Shivraj Singh Chauhan that actually asked for the CBI and the court appreciated it.
Okay.
Go take out the court records, take out the orders, and you'll have all the facts.
So they are saying, the opposition says that we will continue. Gargi Roy, let me bring you in on this. Gargi Nandi Roy, let me bring you on this. The opposition continues to say we can still go after the Enforcement Directorate, still call out its selectiveness because there has been no action against anyone from the BJP by the ED after 2014. That's the kind of blanket accusation that is being made. Your response to that?
Yes. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for inviting me. I'll come to that. See, if BJP is wrong, then the voters of BJP will teach them a lesson. But in West Bengal, 1 second, I'm getting an echo. 1 second,
Yeah, we'll just correct that, but you carry on. Correct it, carry on.
But in West Bengal, the West Bengal, the voters have elected Trinamool. The mandate has been given to Trinamool, and Mati Manush have been cheated by TMC and Mamata Didi. Rahul, today on national channel, I want to share two specific information with you. Okay, firstly, Partha Chatterjee was appointed to do this scam. Partha Chatterjee is not alone responsible because in Bengal, nothing happens without the inspiration of Didi. So Didi should resign now. I'll tell you, in 2011, when first time Didi came in power, Mr. Bratto Bayoshu, an actor, director, writer, was made the education minister. But he brought radical changes. He made admissions online in college and universities. So immediately Bratto Bayoshu was removed and Partha Chatterjee was made the education minister. Why? Because he could collect money. Second information I'll give you. A few days back in an interview given by Boishakhi Bandhopadhyay, the wife of Shobhan Chatterjee, former mayor and cabinet minister, she told to ABP Anando that she has been told by official of education department that all vice chancellors in West Bengal, barring the vice chancellor of Calcutta University and Jadavpur University, all vice chancellors are given a target. They have to collect an amount of money, and that money goes up to the top to Mamata Banerjee's residence in Kalighat.
These are very strong accusations. Quick response from Dr. Panja on this. So, and then I have a fundamental question for Touseef.
And
yes.
I want to ask
Mr.
10 seconds. Rahul, 1 second, 10. I will ask Dr. Panja what will happen if the people who have paid 15, 20 and 30 lakhs for jobs, now they start asking back their money because now they are losing their jobs. Already because of High Court order, 269 teachers have lost jobs. What will happen? The thousands, Rahul, I'll tell you the amount is 15,000 crore scam. This scam, and as a daughter of Bengal, my heart bleeds today.
Those are your assessments. The ED right now has not put a number on this, so let's for the interest of keeping this within the confines of credulity. One second, madam. One second.
Dr. Panja, please answer.
Okay, I'll ask you, Dr. Panja. This is a serious case of, and the High Court is on record. You know this, that there was a problem in the department. Now, teachers who have obviously paid money, they are being kicked out. The students that were taught by them perhaps are damaged goods for life because merit has been also murdered. The claim that Gargi Nandi Roy is making is that all of this is being done at Mamata Banerjee's behest, and now therefore you have suddenly gone and severed your connection from this individual before the cancer spreads. That's a very serious charge. You need to answer because that is what the public will also ask you today, Dr. Panja.
Exactly, Rahulji. This is what I said. It is the people's beliefs and trust and hope that are the foundations for Trinamool Congress. You know, Mamati Manush, Dr. Roy, let Mamati Manush decide whether they like TMC or not. And I'm amazed by your fictitious allegations. I mean, you need to substantiate. You are trying to say that the chief minister is saying that go and steal money. I mean, this is, we could file a defamation against you. Kindly substantiate your statements. And who are you to give the logic? No. Boishakhi Bandhopadhyay, what is the locus standi? I mean, tomorrow so many things are being said about BJP. I'll tell you what is being said about BJP.
Have you filed a defamation?
No. Boishakhi Bandhopadhyay will say that in court if she
Okay.
wants to.
Okay.
You cannot
Look.
quote Baisha. Who is she? What
Okay,
is that
who is she?
relevance to
What?
the
Okay,
case?
fine. Both now, both. Okay,
You
one second.
kindly
Let me come in
withdraw.
here. Let me come in here.
Kindly withdraw the allegations you did against the Honorable Chief Minister.
Okay, now, one second.
People who have paid
One
their
second. Let's
paid
keep
their
this
money
civil,
for their
please.
jobs. Will they
Pipe
be
down,
able to
everybody.
Filed defamation against you.
Okay.
I mean, there is a limit to
Okay, I just want to make it
an
clear.
allegation.
I just want to make
are
it
going
clear.
to
One
elect-
second. Pipe down, everybody. Pipe down, everybody. Please, pipe down. Please, pipe down. Please. 1 minute. I just want to make it clear. Certain allegations have been made. We don't No, 1 second. We don't underwrite any of these allegations. These are being made by Dr. Roy. Gargi Nandi Roy. Dr. Panja has responded to them. I want to get to the heart of this story rather being taken away from the meat of this story. The meat of this story, viewers, is this is a fraud also. If the allegations stick, it's a fraud on the Manush. It's a fraud on merit. This is what Mamata Banerjee said, I believe in 2011, if memory serves me right. Listen to this. She promised to serve Ma Mati Manush. And I will play out that bite for you. It was seminal. It created a huge amount of goodwill for her. Let's play it out, Nizam Bhai, without delay. I was told it was there. Let's go. Yeah, let's play it.
আমি সবাইকে বলি জয় হিন্দ, বন্দে মাতরম, মামাটি মানুষ জিন্দাবাদ, মামাটি মানুষ ধন্যবাদ।
This was first invoked in 2011, within days of Mamata Banerjee sweeping a historic election. Touseef Ahmed, I want to ask you this. Have the actions, alleged actions, again, alleged actions, and the suspension of Partha Chatterjee dented this Ma Mati Manush slogan? Who is being cheated? It's the ordinary Manush. The future of this country has also been cheated. Money has been, of course, taken. But because of undeserving teachers, you have weakened the education system, undermining the superstructure on which the future is built. This is a serious, serious omission or commission.
Rahul, Mamata Banerjee's popularity is absolutely intact. There were cases of corruptions before. There were some party leaders who were suspended before. And since action speaks louder than words, this time again, Mamata Banerjee has sacked the minister who is facing cases of corruption. The point here is that whether the ED, which is a central agency, an extended arm of the central government, whether they are serious about fighting the corruption, or are they serious about fighting the opposition? When they took out a list of 122 sitting and former MPs and MLAs who are facing the money laundering cases last year, that list they presented to court. That list they did not brought to the media. But now, since it is against a particular opposition leader, everything is being linked to the media. Nevertheless, party has taken action.
It's not as if hang on. Please don't undermine the agency of the media, please. I will take severe objection, but I am not going to get into this red herring. I am going to ask you this. No, 1 second.
122
Ahmed
MLAs
Saab,
and MPs.
you said, Ahmed Bhai, you said.
Let us
No, listen to me. Listen to me. I have a follow-up
Mithun
question.
Chakrabarti,
Sir.
Mukul Roy, Suvendu Adhikari,
Sir.
V.S. Yadurappa, just few names of BJP. The names are long.
Yes.
You should
ED
tell
and
to the
CBI
viewers,
were investigating
and ED should
Mohit
say to
Kamboj
the
as of
media.
July 2020 in relation to a bank scam related to rupees 67 crores. In January 2021, the ED attached assets of a BJP leader from Surat. The attached properties were worth 2.7 crores. The man's name is PVS Verma. There are other examples. I want to come back to you 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. Mr. Ahmed, you said that the population and popularity, population of Bengal and Mamata's popularity. Population of Bengal votes for Mamata Banerjee. Her popularity remains undented. Would you then concede? You have made allegations against Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the past when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He came back with an overwhelming majority, not once, but twice. Second time, the second election, Rafael. People voted him back. Would you then concede that he is innocent? Would you apply the same yardstick?
Narendra Modi won because Congress had given it up.
You see, viewers, no. You can't suddenly now. You can't suddenly. No. I'm sorry. I'm now moving on. I'm moving on because I'm running out of time. I just want to also focus on another big story. You can't have two different yardsticks. There can't be a but and a. You see, we should not be judging people in the court of public opinion. Perceptions can be swayed, viewers. You know very well. But fundamentally, Narendra Modi was even let off by the courts in the alleged crimes that he was accused of. That is where it matters. This preemptive action, the point is, will it insulate the TMC from the larger, more embarrassing charge that this scam runs deeper?
Can I ask two questions to Dr. Paja?
No, I'm now closing this debate. I'm leaving it as a rhetorical question. Please, I'm leaving it. We can continue this debate tomorrow also. This story is going nowhere. It's probably going to get bigger. The threads of this story, we don't know where they lead to. We don't even know if all this money is only from one particular scam, or will the diary reveal more scams? We don't know all this. These are all rhetorical, presumptive questions I'm putting out there. We'll have to wait and see. But I want to move on to a very quick story as I wrap out of this show, viewers. 3 days after the first tribal woman from a humble background was sworn in as the President of India, the grand old party, the Congress, stripped her of her dignity. Congress appointed leader of opposition Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary referred to Draupadi Murmu, President Draupadi Murmu, as Rashtrapatni. Rashtrapatni. Think about that, viewers. How condescending, how sexist, how demeaning. It's almost like the Mahabharata has been replayed. This led to a massive uproar inside and outside the parliament, with the BJP demanding an apology from the party chief, Sonia Gandhi, for insulting the president. But these demands were scoffed at by the Congress, who said BJP's Union Minister Smriti Irani in turn insulted Sonia Gandhi, the Congress party president. We will tell you all about the spat which happened after the House adjourned and the cameras stopped rolling. But first, listen how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary first insulted President Murmu and then defiantly says he won't apologize. Listen to this first.
कल तो राष्ट्रपति भवन जा रहे थे तो जाने नहीं दिया गया था।
नहीं दिया गया, आज भी जाने का कोशिश करेंगे। हिंदुस्तान की राष्ट्रपति जी सबके लिए है। राष्ट्रपति जी नहीं, राष्ट्रपत्नी जी, हिंदुस्तान की राष्ट्रपत्नी जी सबके लिए है। हमारे लिए क्यों नहीं? हमारा बात रखने के लिए
राष्ट्रपति के लिए राष्ट्रपति शब्द का इस्तेमाल करना बेहतर रहेगा।
कल भी मैंने ये कहा कि हम राष्ट्रपति जी भवन जाना चाहते हैं और राष्ट्रपति बोलने का तुरंत बाद मुंह से निकल गया राष्ट्रपत्नी जी के साथ मिलना चाहते हैं। Some ruling parties members and a party in a deliberate design trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. एक लफ्ज निकल चुके चूक से, इसलिए मैं कल ही पत्रकारों को कह रहे थे कि भाई ये एक बार चूक हुई है, पिछले माफी मांगने की सवाल ही नहीं, माफी किस लिए, चूक हो गए।
Viewers, in the original soundbite, he described President Murmu as Rashtrapati thrice. The fourth instance, he said Rashtrapatni. The BJP led a scathing attack not just on Adhir Chaudhary, but even his party chief Sonia Gandhi on the floor of the House. They demanded an apology from Sonia herself. After this unacceptable sexism, did the party chief, who happens to be a woman, act against Adhir? Not really. Listen to how Sonia dismissed it and her lieutenant defended him.
Ma'am, will you ask Adhir Da to apologize? Ma'am, will you ask Adhir Da to apologize?
He has already apologized.
It's not demeaning. What happened is that president is not he, but she. And what he said, Patni. Patni means, of course, it's a feminine gender. To my mind, he would have not regretted him. It's not demeaning, not degradation.
Viewers, you saw that Sonia Gandhi looked visibly irritated. She turned to the camera very sternly, said he's already apologized. The fiery exchange inside Parliament then followed, even after the House adjourned. Those inside say that an irate Sonia Gandhi walked up to Rama Devi, who was in the chair, and asked her why her name was mentioned by Smriti Irani. Union Minister Smriti Irani overheard and walked up to Sonia and said, "Ma'am, may I help you? I took your name." To which Sonia allegedly said, "Don't talk to me." Of course, both the Congress and BJP's versions of who threatened whom varies. Listen in to the two versions of the spat.
अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी से तो कोई भूल हुई, जिसका वो भूल उन्होंने स्वीकार किया, कबूल किया। उनके तरफ से जो व्यवहार आज हुआ सोनिया गांधी जी पर, महिला और पुरुष सबके सामने, कैमरा के सामने है आप, पर उनके व्यवहार से पता चल गया कि जो हमसे वो अपेक्षा करते वो खुद ही वो दिखा नहीं पाते, दर्शा नहीं पाते। और जिस प्रकार से आज मैं कह सकता हूं, बातों से नहीं, आज शारीरिक रूप से आज चोट आज श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी को पहुंच सकती थी।
आज जब श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी ने बात की, उस समय कोई और भी सांसद बगल में आकर के क्या है, क्या हो गया, क्या बात हो रही है, ऐसे पूछने में यू डोंट टॉक टू मी ऐसे करके दूसरे सांसद को ऑलमोस्ट थ्रेटनिंग आवाज से बात की है।
Viewers, I just want to end with a bit of trivia. When Pratibha Patil became the first woman president, there was an intense discussion on the term, with women activists alleging that the word Rashtrapati was gender biased and patriarchal. When there was a suggestion that a woman president should be addressed as Rashtrapatni, experts had outright rejected it. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, at that time, was also a member of parliament. Incidentally, let me tell you, President Nehru, during the Constituent Assembly debates, was also Prime Minister Nehru, during the Constituent Assembly debates, was also seized of this issue. This matter came up back then also. And he outright rejected any suggestion and said that the Rashtrapati must be referred to as the Rashtrapati. I leave it at that, viewers. The Congress says it adheres to Nehru's ideals. You judge for yourself.